how to use blessings to turn around a negative situation fast and avoid the two major pitfalls that will try to take you down. Hello, I'm Frank of Future, and welcome to the Vanguard of Light, where we help energy sensitive people take it to the next level. And we got a good one today. We are talking about blessings and how to use blessings to turn around a negative situation. Specifically, like when it involves another person, right? And it doesn't have to involve just another person, it can hold multiple people, but basically a situation that has gone sideways. You know, you had this thought, intent, dreams that it was going to be a certain way, and now it's gone south, right? And there's a lot of different reasons and ways that could have happened, right? But we're also going to talk about the two pitfalls if you go down the blessing route to avoid. Okay, so let's say the situation, it's gone south, it's messed up, blah, 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 right? You don't feel good about it. One of the quickest ways to get out of that is actually bless the other person, right? Because it wasn't like there was a lack of blessings that caused this dynamic. So whatever happened, it wasn't that they had a deficiency of blessings that caused whatever to happen, right? And you got to think of what happened as like a three-dimensional printout. In this three-dimensional world, there's a printout, right? And you look at that printout and you're like, I don't like that printout. That's crummy. That's a crummy printout. But notice that came from the 5D. Came from the 5D, was formed in the 5D. There's a lot of different things. There could have been dark forces in play. There could have just been miscommunications. We don't know necessarily what was happening in their world. I mean, a whole bomb could have gone off in their world, right? And then you get this printout of like, man, what's the deal? So one of the best ways to get out of that, especially internally, is just to send them a blessing. It's just to be like, acknowledge them that they're a being of light. You're a being of light, and just, you want good in their life. Of like, just send them good. Because that's going to change your internal state. Your internal state is of like, why'd they screw me over? Right? But now if you're doing blessings, that's going to be a mismatch. And especially if it's like, I don't want to do that, right? That's new information. Because wherever you're at, right, and if it doesn't feel good, that's kind of like a stuck place, right? It's just a stuck setup of like, this is what is, right? So when you inject something brand new, like, I'm going to do a blessing. I don't feel positive to them, but I'm going to give them a blessing. I'm going to wish greatness in their life, like wonder and awesome and amazingness. It's a complete like disconnect from the feelings and the emotion of the printout in the 3D world, because kind of you're going into 5D and injecting blessing. You're injecting love, you're injecting light. Not necessarily love for them, but just like, that intent of like, I want good for you, right? And you're putting that into the 5D. You're projecting that out into the 5D, which is going to change the 5D, which is going to eventually change your three-dimensional reality. So that's an awesome thing to do. Great way to start turning that around. You'll immediately turn it around for yourself to get into that place, right? Now there's two pitfalls that you got to watch out for, right? The first one, and this is a big one, is to do it out of a sense of better than, right? To where you're like, well, I'm better than you, so I'm going to bless you, right? Oh, careful. Don't go down that, because that is just, it's like you're setting off a time bomb in the 5D, because it's so arrogant. It's so rude. And it's like, you really want to put that in the 5D to come, it's going to come get you. You put that in the 5D, it's going to be like, boom, because you're doing it like as if, you're taking something spiritual, like blessing, right? So you're going into that realm of like, hey, I'm going to take something that looks like source, right? And then pervert it to be better than someone else. Ooh, any protections that you have from higher beings, they're going to be like, I'm going to look the other way. Yeah, we'll just let you get hit with whatever's, because it's just, you don't want to, you're better off just being like, and be mad at them. Don't send them a blessing. But don't do a blessing of like, oh, I'm better than you. Oh, look at me. I'm so much more enlightened. I'm going to bless you, because, and you're basically thinking of like, you're garbage and I'm so much better than you and I'm going to bless you. So you're taking a blessing. So don't do that. Don't do that. It's a difficult way, but it's also a great way to live your life, is to do it to like protect you from that, is just think positive intent. Just always just have that on tap of like positive intent. that whatever they did, they had a positive intent. Now there's going to be a small group of people that are kind of just pretty much, they're indoctrinated with evil and they just go out and do stuff to be evil to people, right? And even if you bless them, you know, the worst that's going to happen is it's going to lift them up enough to see how entrenched in evil they are, and then they start feeling bad about being so entrenched in evil. So at least that's a positive, and it's a way, you know, like, well, at least you're going to see that you're a jerk. But most people aren't. I mean, majority of people you're going to come across is going to be very few people that have that intent of evil. They actually have a positive intent. Like they got in the rage, they wanted to make something positive happen. Now they could have got overwhelmed. They could have had something happen in their life. They could have like put it out there, but then it was kind of crap, and then, you know, they ghost and disappear, right? Because of embarrassment. But it wasn't because they wanted to harm you. You know, they just felt like, you know, they got insecure, like, oh, I messed up and I'm just not going to be approved and blah, blah. And it kicks off all their stuff. But they didn't go out with the intent of like, I want to harm you. Like whatever failed, they weren't thinking that. They weren't going that. That's a good mind frame to be like, they didn't go that. And it helps you not be, oh, I'm better than them. Because if you're focused on, oh, they had a positive intent. Well, let me just honor that. They had a positive intent, you know. That intent would have happened if there wasn't other negativity in their space, in their 5D or whatever. Because they had the intention of like, hey, I want to do something positive. I mean, how many times has that ever happened to you? Of like, you know, you wanted to help someone out. You wanted to do something good, and it went sideways. For a multitude of reasons, it could have gone sideways, and then they were upset. But it wasn't like you started off thinking like, yeah, how can I set it up to like just stick it to them? You know, it wasn't that. You know, you wanted something positive, right? So it's just having that mind frame. It's great to go around with, of just having, and it's hard. I can give you that. It's hard because you get upset. And it feels like, man, oh, they're just being lazy, and they're just think positive intent. They had a positive intent. Something happened in their world. I don't know what it is, but let me put something positive in their world. Let me go into the 5D and send them some goodness, right? I'm going to send them some goodness. That's going to bring favor to other higher spiritual beings of like, wow, that's how you respond. That's how you respond when something negative comes your way. You're going to still push good. They're going to be watching out. They're going to keep an eye on you. They're like, ooh, you know, let's keep an eye on it, you know. So there's probably a ton of negative things that were coming at you that a higher spiritual being was like, oh, not today. Not going to get that. Not saying that you don't have your fair share of things that did come through, right? But we don't know how much didn't come through, how much support we did get. So it's kind of like just extending that to the other person of like, yeah, I didn't like what happened, but it'll change my state to be positive to them. Right? It's going to change my state, and they probably had a positive intent too. So I'm going to let it go, because you don't want to have all that angst and upset carrying around, because that's also leaking out into the 5D to create more of that. So as quick as you can get out of it, you know, that's the best. Now the second big pitfall, you got to think of it like like if you're walking on a mountain, like on the very top of the mountain, like here, if you walk on the trail there, it's not too bad. But if you're on the side, like have you ever been on the sand dunes or something like that, and you're like, the mountain's here and you're on the side, it's hard. You all slide in and stuff like that, but if you're right on the top, it's not too bad. So it's kind of like these two things of either one will take you down. One is doing that like, you know, I'm better than you and I'm, you know, so enlightened, that's why I'm blessing you. And the other one is if you're doing it out of obligation, of like, oh, now I have to be the better person, or oh, now you know, it's just gonna make things worse if I don't, you know, bless them and like that, because it's false. You know, it's fine if you're just like, I'm in it, I don't want to bless them, without the obligation. Just be like, okay, it's fine. You know, it's not like a whole bunch of horrible is gonna happen to you because of that. You know, it's like, let that go. Like, no, it's not like that. It's not like a big punishment because you weren't able to do it. So don't go in thinking, oh, I have to do this. It's one more thing. If I'm going to be part of the Vanguard, I have to do this thing. And it's like, it's a downer, because it just pulls you down. And it's just dark forces trying to trick you. And if it's there, it's just fine. I mean, one, you can do one of the spiritual 911s and pull out of that, right? Or two, just like, okay, that's just where I'm at. I don't have to bless. That's not like a requirement, like that somehow there's a deficiency in me, so I have to bless. No, use it as a gift of like, oh, wait a second, if I can remember this and I bless, you know, it'll be a gift to me. It will come as a gift. But if it doesn't feel like a gift, then don't do it. That's fine. There's not a punishment here. So those are two things, is one, doing it out of superiority, or two, doing it because if you don't, you'll be punished. So those are two things. Hopefully, like, just this like little nuance of blessings, and the really big one is just positive intent, positive intent. They had a positive intent. I'm just gonna focus, they had a positive intent. You know, if they had negative intent, then the more blessing you do will hopefully push away negative intent people away from you, to where they just, you know, the higher beings will be like, well, let's keep these negative intent people away, right? Because there's nothing to be learned there of like, because if you're consistently blessing people when something goes wrong, there's nothing more to learn from negative intent people. Also, if this is a challenge for you on the blessings, let's get your blessing muscle tuned up. And we're doing a 10-day blessing challenge. There'll be a link below to where we're going to do 10 blessings for 10 days and just get in the habit of blessing other people and really building that blessing muscle to where when you're in it, it's easy. It's just easy. Like, oh, boom, blessing. I mean, because I had that happen for me today. I was just in the habit of blessing, right? Something didn't go wrong. I mean, something didn't go right, right? And it was just like, ah. And I was like, oh, first thought was like, send the person a blessing. You know, that's my first thought. Send them a blessing. It didn't work out. Okay, cool. Let's put some positivity in first. Send them a blessing. So hopefully that helps. I encourage you to join the 10-day blessing challenge because it is life-changing. It does awaken in your abilities. It also gets you in touch with that your blessings matter. They really do affect things. You can go into this non-physical world and change your physical printout. So it is fantastic. Not to mention it feels amazing. Like after you knock out 10, it's like you feel good. I mean, you can go in like, I feel okay. And you come out just like, man, you feel good. And you just get clear of like, wow, I do want positive things to happen for other people. So until we talk again, have a blessed day or a blessed night.